Hello there. Thank you for checking out this edition of R&R's Ask the Expert. Today, I am very excited to be joined by Nasucha Mabwa, who is the owner of a ServiceMaster franchise in the Chicagoland area. It's ServiceMaster Restoration by Simons. She's been in business for a few years now and has some great tips on offering COVID cleaning, how to get out into your community and make sure that you're helping as many people as possible. So Nasucha, thank you so much for joining me. Can you start by telling us a little bit about your company and how it got its start, how big it is, all those things?
Sure. Good morning, Michelle, and thanks for inviting me. So I'm the owner of ServiceMaster Restoration by Simons, and we're a local emergency restoration and cleaning, specialty cleaning company here in the Chicago area. We've been in business for 8 years, and since the pandemic onset in 2020, we've been doing a lot of COVID-19 cleaning and disinfection. So we also do fire, smoke cleanup, water damage, of course, and mold remediation and some post-construction cleaning. But now we're doing a lot of cleaning and disinfection.
Okay. So were you guys doing COVID cleaning from the beginning of the pandemic? I know that there was a lot to learn, a big learning curve with this. Some companies were too nervous to do it. Others jumped right into it, not knowing what they were doing. So what did your curve look like to get into it?
For sure. That's a really good question. We always have done cleaning in the sense that we are a certified, disaster restoration firm. So we've handled, Cat 3, sewer backup, biohazard waste, and we've always had PPE gear on hand already in our company, as well as the proper chemical solutions to, clean those areas. So for us, this pivot that we made in the end of March pretty much was seamless. It required a little additional training on the job and on site for our team, but we were ready to go. So we started with a new webpage in March, and then we started offering the services soon after. Our first job was right around, I would say, the beginning of April 1st or something like that. And we began just getting right to it. We've been comfortable doing it. Nobody has tested positive or been ill in our company since we've started the services. We're extremely careful and diligent in terms of donning and doffing our PPE and cleaning our vans in our own warehouse. And so I think that's really helped make sure that we can ensure that the customers are safe as well. Because sometimes we do preventative cleanings and sometimes we're cleaning after a positive case. It depends.
So what does preventative cleaning look like versus cleaning after a positive case? Does it look different, or is it a lot of the protocols the same?
It's a lot of the protocols are the same. The staff still will don and doff their PPE just because you don't know. The only difference is sometimes, for example, if somebody has been quarantined in a specific area or has been sick and they were in an office, the manager or the relative will say, can you take extra care in this specific room? I think that's the real only difference. We always want to be careful and do a great job anyways. So we're thorough no matter what, because there's so many unknowns and it's not a good idea to skip over or just do something lightly.
What kind of training does your team go through to learn how to do this kind of cleaning? And there's a lot of training in restoration, but maybe specifically for this, what kind of training have you relied on?
So we've relied on the IICRC, which is a great industry resource. We are a certified firm and we have the highest training certifications for cleaning and disinfection. And, there's different levels for cleaning right now, given the pandemic that the IICRC offers. I think it's antimicrobial specialist. We've taken all of that, the people who are certified in the company, and made sure to train the other technicians, and then done training on site first before going out. We've watched videos on site together as a team, training videos, learning how to clean in the right direction with microfiber rags, practicing donning and doffing. And all of this we've practiced on site before even leaving to do a job back when this first started. So I think we've gotten a really good rhythm. It's seamless and the staff are very confident and comfortable in providing the services, which is great because everybody wants to be confident in what they're doing to deliver a good quality of service.
So what role have you found that ventilation plays in the disinfection process? That's not really something that I've heard people talk about, but I know that's something that you've been aware of. So I'm curious about that.
It's really important, and I don't think enough attention was paid to it until more recently. You've heard about it a little bit more now that the weather's getting colder in some areas of the United States and other countries. But the issue is we know that the virus passes through transmission from person to person through tiny droplets in the air, which is not really as big of as an issue if you're outdoors or have fresh air. But when you're in a closed space, such as a multi-rise or high-rise building and the windows don't open, then you have an issue. So we have to start really addressing indoor air exchange, fresh air intake, and understanding the HVAC system, the MERV rating. And this gets kind of technical, but MERV just stands for minimum efficiency reporting value of an air filter. And can it capture the larger particles of dirt, dust, and of viruses? Those are microns. It's measured like 0.3 to 10. And the filter, if it's the right size, can capture that. That's why you have to have the right specialist who can work with the building engineer and the facility manager in a larger system, for example, to do some tests and make sure that the right filter is installed, to make sure that the filter's trapping those particles. And there's indoor air quality specialist, that's called IAQ. That's important in terms of air quality. If you put the wrong MERV rating filter on an HVAC system, you can actually damage the furnace or air conditioner. So it's important to get the right guidance from the right resources. And they are out there, and they're in all large cities, and you can find someone to come in and help you with your building. I know a lot of schools that have opened or tried to open in the fall had to do this, other daycares, to make sure that their filtration system was up to par with a higher MERV rating filter. And so another point to add would be, just as people are gathering and going inside restaurants or for the holidays in small spaces, it's important to have the proper amount of fresh air exchange, at least opening doors and windows and not gathering too closely with too many people, since we know how COVID-19 or coronavirus can be transmitted.
So are you still seeing a lot of coronavirus cleaning requests for service, or has that slowed down a little bit? What does that look like for you?
So for us, we've seen some peaks and valleys, but it's been consistent. I mean, there's not been a week since we started in the beginning of the spring where we haven't had any COVID calls. Right now, we're averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 calls a day. And so some people are just shopping around and calling. Maybe they just have a relative and they just want to see what can be done. Of course, we do a lot of phone screening and support over the phone. We spend a lot of time talking to customers, commercial and residential. You have a dental office, this happened, okay, we can come in, this is our process. First, we're going to be cleaning, then we're going to be hand wiping and disinfecting. We're going to be using Gold Shield, which is our antimicrobial service, which gives you up to 90 days of protection on surfaces. Or we're going to be, spending a lot more time trying to just clean this person's house with fogging because they had a lot of upholstery and bedding, and they're concerned about area rugs and chairs, for example, and the grandkids coming over. So we've seen a lot of calls consistently. We're still getting them every day. It has not let up. And honestly, the past month or so, there's been an uptick.
So what advice do you have for other restoration companies that maybe are doing COVID cleaning, aren't sure if they should stay in it, or now we might be going into a second wave, maybe, depending on where you live and what the numbers look like? What advice do you have for other companies doing this or not doing this?
Right. Well, I think there is a bit of apprehension when you first start. We had the same level of apprehension. We are a small family-owned business here in the Chicagoland area. We were concerned for ourselves. We have children, and also for our employees, and they have families and children. So we wanted to go at this and approach it in a way that was really safe, but successful. We didn't want to end up hurting anyone or hurting ourselves or putting ourselves at risk. So I would say that you have to have the right equipment on hand. We stocked up. We already had a lot of this before the pandemic began, but you've got to have the right supplies. You would need to have a lot of Tyvek suits, respirators, the correct type of respirators, a lot of gloves, booties. If the Tyvek suits don't go over the feet, you need booties, so you could change those out. And then you would need to have all the right cleaning solutions. And we use only EPA approved disinfectants, FDA registered for restaurants and food services. And then, of course, all of this is recommended by the CDC. So you've got to make sure you're using the right disinfectant. Service Master does a really good job of providing those resources for us, and we've been able to stock up on all of those cleaning solutions. So we have everything we need.
Okay, so I want to get a little more personal here. I always love meeting fellow women in restoration and hearing their stories. So I'm curious, your journey, how you got into restoration, what's keeping you here, all of that.
Okay, so for me, my journey has been very unique. I come from a background in municipal government, urban planning, and then commercial real estate development. And I managed a very large project in Chicago for some years. And as I began to have a family, I realized that I was really not available very much. And we had help taking care of the children, but I wanted to be more available to my family. So my husband, my partner, we decided to buy a franchise in Chicago, and we started with just one license, and we've grown to 6 licenses in the larger Chicagoland area. And this provided me the opportunity to be able to run my own business, set my own hours, and be a more available parent for my 2 kids, which was really hard when I was an executive traveling and running a project. So restoration is unique. There's not a lot of women in restoration. It is a really unique field, but it is exciting. We're very lean and agile in our company, and I really enjoy helping people. And we met as social workers, my husband and I. And so I think today we still use a lot of those skills as we're helping people through disasters. Disasters are disruptive, whether it's coronavirus and a relative is sick in your home, or several staff have tested positive in your factory, or if you have a fire, right? Or if you have 2 feet of water in your basement. No matter what, these are very stressful, disruptive situations. And we have to respect and use a lot of empathy with our customers so they know that we really do genuinely care. There is a level of genuine care, and we're so connected to all of our customers still in our business that I think that separates us from the rest. We don't have 4 layers of management. We know what's going on with all the projects at all times. And that is a more genuine way to run a business. And it's you're more directly connected to the people you're serving.
I love it. Okay. Anything else you want to add? I've appreciated the conversation.
No problem. Thanks for the invite. I would just say that since we're talking about, restoration and cleaning and COVID, it's just a time for people to be vigilant about continuing to practice all the guidelines that we've been told for the past 6-7 months. We should still be really vigilant as restoration owners in our offices, making sure everyone's wearing masks, making sure those masks are clean. You can't wear the same mask for 2 weeks straight. We need to change our masks. Making sure that we're disinfecting high-touch areas in our own businesses and our vans and our fleets as we go out and serve customers. And then, of course, being really vigilant about donning and doffing PPE if we are going to be providing, cleaning and disinfection services. So I think it's important to do that. We've been able to kind of carry through this period successfully, and I hope others can too. It's a great way to add a service line to your business when maybe other service lines are suffering, because it's been tough for many business owners this time period. But get out there and try it. You never know until you give it a try.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, thank you, Nasucha, for all of your insight and telling your story. I love that. And thank you to all of those of you who are watching this video. You can find a lot more coronavirus resources on rnrmagonline.com. Right up at the top, it says coronavirus resources. And I hope everyone has a great day.